We are going live today from the car, like how I started YouTube. I actually shot my last video in the car, which was nice because I was able to kind of go back and compare and contrast when I started doing this and a little bit of a difference. But good morning, happy Saturday. We're doing this live because I was motivated to talk about a brand new independent brand called Noctua Watch Corp. And it's actually the watch that I've been wearing on wrist all week. I had it on the silicone strap first, and now I have it back on the bracelet. I just finished the script for it, so you guys are gonna get a full in-depth review on that watch coming soon. But I wanted to come up here and talk about, give you guys kind of like a sneak preview, if you will. I know some creators, they do like a video of the watch that they're gonna do a review of later. This is my version of it going live. Maybe I get some people on here to talk to about it, but on wrist check is of course the Noctua watch that we're talking about. I'll flip the camera around so you guys can get a better look at it. But I'm super excited to make that video. And full disclosure, full transparency, we are friends. The owner and I, JP is a good friend of mine. We were friends before he even decided to come out with his new watches. I like to think that I motivated him, give him some words of encouragement to move forward with it. So I'm super excited and fired up. And I just wanted to be fully transparent that we were friends before this, but business is business, right? And he actually told me that when I do the review, he wants me to be completely honest and open, and he wants the feedback, as he should, right? That's the biggest thing, right? There shouldn't be a independent or micro brand, whether you're friends or you're not, whether you get paid or not. Like the goal of doing a review on a watch is to get feedback. And if you restrict that watch reviewer in giving that feedback, that true feedback, then you're gonna miss out on things that you can actually improve on in the watch. So anywho, we're gonna do that review. It's going to be honest, and I'm excited to actually do that because this is an actual chance for me to review somebody that could be viewed as quote unquote biased. And you guys are gonna see that review, and you guys are gonna be able to give me feedback if whether or not I was truly giving it and putting it through the ringer and giving it the true workup, right? And I'm not gonna be the only reviewer going over the Noctua Watch Corp watches. He actually already has lined up other reviewers to do a review on this watch. So you're gonna be able to see my review, right, versus somebody else's. And they're pretty big names. They have a stronger following. They've been on YouTube longer, these reviewers. So you're gonna be able to truly put my review against somebody who's been doing it, somebody else that you follow. These guys are probably people that you follow. I don't wanna say who just yet because, you know, obviously everything's being worked out. But like I said, I love it because you're gonna be able to see my review and put it up against that. Anyway, I've been having this watch on wrist for quite some time now. I first started off with a production model. This is more of like a release model, closer to, but he's continually trying to implement things into the watch to make it better, even as we speak. So there may also already be some differences in the watch that I'm gonna show you here from Noctua Watch Corp. Because he's always working, man. His mind is constantly going, and he wants to make sure that he produces a product that he can be proud of, right? It's all about continuing to get better. And that's the best kind of independent brand to get into releasing watches, right? If they're already a significant watch enthusiast, and if they're already creating content and already building watches, it's almost seamless for that person to now get into opening up their own. Now, they may not want to venture into that because it's easier said than done, right? It could be very expensive. It is very tedious. There's a lot to it. And I've spoken to a few independent brand owners, and it's not as easy as just deciding you want to do this and going into it. So good morning, Scott. Good morning, wannabe YouTuber. Hi, good morning. Oscar, my man Oscar's in the building. Everything is going well, bro. I'm blessed. I can't complain at all. I'm not going to be up here too long. I kind of was just really excited, and I wanted to do this live talking about the new release for Noctua Watch Corp. I'm putting out as much content as I can because, like I said in the beginning of the video, I have a good relationship with JP, the owner, and therefore I'm just fired up, man. And this is what my channel is about, right? Somebody asked me a very good question a couple of days ago. We were talking back and forth, and I mentioned my channel, and I said, you know, if you don't mind taking a peek, maybe you like what you see, maybe you don't, whatever. And before he even went to the channel, he asked me a very good question. He said, okay, how does your channel on Watch Talk separate from all the other channels that I'm already subscribed to? And what is the difference? What are you doing that is going to give value that is different from whatever's out there? And I love that question. It was very, very good. And it made me think for a minute. But ultimately, guys, what I think my channel has that other channels don't, this is all in my opinion, I give you a little bit of everything, right? There are watch modding channels. There are watch channels that just do servicing on watches that are very good. There are a lot of review channels. There are some channels that go live. And there are some channels that just focus on doing interviews with brand owners. I took that and I kind of did a little bit of everything. And it wasn't like I decided to do that. I didn't say like, well, I have to do this in order to create a channel, right? I was already doing a majority of that, aside from obviously the lives and the interviews with brand owners, but that kind of snowballed, and it kind of is suit with how I like to, you know, go about this whole thing with watches. So I think that, and you guys tell me your opinion too. I think that my channel is separate from what's out there because I do a little bit of everything. And that's why I felt motivated. That's why I felt like I had something to say and something to contribute. Now, what I always am transparent about is if you come on my channel and you want an extreme in-depth knowledge and history on watches, I don't have that. I'm learning. I've been collecting for 5 years, right? So that kind of made me nervous in a sense where it's like, who am I to come up on here and try to talk watches when I don't know everything? Well, first of all, nobody knows everything, right? There are people that are very knowledgeable. You could call them top tier, like Teddy Baldazar. He's got a mind full of knowledge. He's very, very good. You guys see my live in New York. I misspelled, or I mispronounced rather, a company, which I'm a little embarrassed about, but at the same time, man, it's like I just jump in the pool and I figure out how to swim along the way, baby. Like that's just how it is, and that's what you're gonna get. So, you know, that's my style. That's what I had to contribute. That's the value. That's the difference that you're gonna get on here. But let's get back to Noctua after we catch up on chat. Hi, I caught that already. Oscar says, what's up? You wanna be YouTuber subbed up? I appreciate that. Oscar gives me the pound. Scott, how is everything? I read this. I'm doing well. How are you? Trump did win. What are you gonna do? Like, can't tell you guys who I voted for, but Trump did win. Hopefully things get better, you know. Either way, been liking Skylar's. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That means a lot, Scott. The healthy feedback that I get is really, really appreciated, for sure. So I am doing well, Trump supporter. I see what you did there, my guy. I see what you're doing over here. Hey, sneaky guy, but I'm doing well, blessed. So we're up on here talking about Noctua. I'm gonna flip the camera around and give you guys a little bit of a sneak preview for it. So this is the actual production model that I got, and I love this thing. I really do love this watch. I think that it, you know, when you get into producing a watch, right, you have two options. You can go with a completely different design, something that's never been seen before. That's about $100,000 minimum, just so you guys know. Or you can take inspirations or you can see if there's a hole in the market for design where maybe two worlds, maybe three worlds weren't yet combined to create your own watch. Now, just off the bat, if you're looking at this on a side profile or if you're looking at this dead on, you're definitely gonna say SKX, right? And I'm gonna say that's probably the base of this watch if you're gonna have to choose one. But as you guys can tell from the design language, we also have Sin inspiration. So this is a pilot diver style watch. Now, what is nice and what jumps out and what is the first question that people get, and even my wife asked me, she said, is that a titanium watch? The answer is no. This is not a titanium watch, even though it looks like it is titanium, but this is actually bead blasted entirely. So the case to the bracelet to the clasp, just case back, just everything is sand blasted, and it gives you that titanium look. but 316L stainless steel, and it's going to give you the heft. All right, this is a little bit of a chunky boy. I think that dimensions are just on par. I have a 7¼ inch wrist, and it's not too big. I think we're 46 or 47 here. I think we're about 41 or 42, and then we're about 13, maybe 13 and change from the top of the crystal to the back, right? So chunky boy. You know, some people like the bigger sizes, and I really do like it as well. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna have this side by side when I do the official review of the SKX009 that I have. This way, you know, you could just see it night and day. But obviously, my man took the best of two worlds. If Sin in the SKX007 or 009, or at this point I would say 007, right? Because we got the black bezel, had a baby, this would be it. And I love that. I love that he took something very familiar. I love that you don't see that very often. And on the dial, I chose a review watch. And just so you guys know, I didn't pay for the watch. This is the only form of payment that I got. I mean, obviously this watch is not going anywhere. I love this thing. I didn't get paid to say anything additionally. I just got sent this watch for review. So that's why if you see the paid promotion, that's what it's regarding. But all lume dial, man, all lume dial. So this is C3 Superluminova C3, so you get that little bit of a cream look to it, fully lume dial. Now if you look at the eyes, I can't get too close, but if you look at the eyes, the lume comes through over there, so when you are at night, it looks really, really nice, man. This whole thing actually is a lume monster. If you guys are a lume head, as I like to call it, you're gonna love this watch, especially this edition. Now he has a black dial with a date wheel. This one has no date wheel, obviously, aperture, but he also did the true NH38 in there, so you don't have a ghost complication in this. And I know that's a big thing, and that's the attention to detail that we were talking about. And he makes sure to put that movement in the models that don't have the date aperture, if you will. So I love that. We have a count, is this a count down or a count up? This is a count down bezel instead of a count up bezel. That's something that's also different. And I honestly didn't realize that in the beginning. So another thing to separate, you know, what is out there, to separate himself a little bit. So we're taking a little bit of inspiration on two sides and kind of putting his own little spin on it. Now, unsigned crown on mine, he's currently working on getting this laser engraved. Likewise on the clasp, we're gonna have a laser engraving of the logo. The case back, however, does have a laser engraving. We have the model, we have 300 meters, we have the logo in a big, large font, and it's nice because, you know, I never came across an engraving like this, but if you guys ever touched a laser engraving, it almost feels like suede. You know, it's a little different. And of course, Noctua Watch Corp on there. Screwed in. No compromise here on doing a transparent case back. That was a smart move. You know, it's nice to look into a movement, but once you have a few NH, you know, movements, it's not decorated. It's nothing to write home about, you know, and you are getting more compromise when you have a see-through case back, right? There's more points of failure, if you will. So I'm glad he went to do a solid case back on this and do the engraving. Now, for the bezel click, I'm gonna let you guys listen to that as well, but just so you guys know, female end links, drilled lugs, right? We're not getting quick release. It's a little redundant to get quick release with drilled lugs, but you know, it wouldn't hurt. But this is, again, this is his first model. 3 points of adjustment here, no quick adjustment, just tooled adjustment, but everything is solid. The bracelet doesn't jangle. I don't know if you guys can hear that. You know, it's just gonna get some jangling, but it doesn't have that jingle jangle kind of feel. It is very hefty. This watch is heavy. You guys are I'm gonna actually weigh this so you guys know what the weight is in total. I'm gonna weigh just the watch, and then I'm gonna weigh the watch with the bracelet and the watch with the band. We're gonna be very, very thorough in this review that I do here. But he has another version. That's a black dial, like I said, date wheel aperture. You guys will see 4 different renditions. The other option is to go with the more of a pilot style look, complete without the bezel. It's just a black bezel, no turn. And it's also a little bit thinner. This one's about 13 and change. The one without this rotating bezel is about 12 and a half. So if you want it to be a little bit thinner, you'll have that option. But a solid release, man. This is a super solid watch. And I'll let you guys listen to the the bezel action here. So let me be quiet. What is it? What is it? ASMR? Something like that? What does that even stand for? Wait. Ooh. Yes, like cracking open a safe. Now, with that being said, you know, biggest thing is, does it have any backplay? So check this out. I'm gonna go around. We're gonna get it to 12 there. So it's gonna go a little bit forward. When you put it back to the spot, which is dead on, no backplay. I'm torquing this thing. I'm willing to risk snapping. No backplay. It's not going to move from there. So absolutely, a tool watch absolutely does what it's supposed to do. It gives that tool watch kind of theme to it just by the looks. Now, the bracelet is sold separately. Definitely recommend it because obviously you're going to have that matching bead blast to the actual case and everything else. So a solid watch, man, all around. I'm super excited for him to have done this and do it so well. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Can't wait. I've got the script already written for the review. It's just a matter of me filming it and going through it. Now, I don't have a lot of time to be on here. I actually have to skate out in a few more minutes, but I just want to show it. I'll catch up on chat. If you guys have any questions, now is the time because I normally do lives for an hour, but your boy don't have an hour today. All right, let me catch up. I'm so sorry that I went off on a tangent. Blah, 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 blah. I read that. It doesn't look like a titanium. Okay. I feel like it does, but to be fair, I don't own a titanium, so learning professional. I actually have a titanium watch coming on its way, so I'll be able to put it up against it. I don't know if I will have that watch by the time the review is done, but we shall see, sir. And you may be right. You may be right. That's why I love doing this, because more brains is better than one, especially my squirrel brain. It does look like titanium. My bad. Nice watch. Nothing wrong with a chunky monkey. No, not at all, man. And if it's going to be chunky monkey, I like how you said that. I think that this is like, for me on a 7¼ inch wrist, I think that this is the maximum amount of chunkiness that I would want on my wrist. Now, lug to lug is the most important thing, and it's right on the button. And because of the female end links, it's on the money. No spacing in between there. Let me see if I can. Yeah, comes right down on the wrist. Now, also, the links are screwed in links. So very, very nice. They come out like butter when you're twisting them. So quality control wise, quality of the watch. Now, he is hand assembling each watch, so they're sold in small batches. So if you are interested and you don't want to have to wait, that's up to you to pull the trigger. I'm just giving you the news on that, and he's doing it himself. He's built, I don't know how many watches he's built, man. We're gonna have the JP, the owner of Noctua Watches, on here to do a official brand owner interview. So we'll be able to get all the finer details. Now, I'm not gonna do that live. Now, I'll tell you why. I'm not doing that part live this time because I feel like you guys watch the lives, but those people who watch regular long form videos sometimes don't. And I want to give him a chance to have full exposure. But of course, if you guys have questions, just comment on that video when it does happen, and I'll have him go through all of them and make sure he answers any of the questions that you have for the brand. Plus, I'll be able to edit it, put some B-roll in there, make it nice. All right, let me check out what's going on. Subbed up, Trump. Thank you, sir. Watches, watch peeps. Mega Zoids in the building. What's up, Mega? Uh-oh, hold on. My dad has a Rolex. Fire. That's Mega, priced in the yes, price is in the $400 range. Thank you, Mega, for putting the link up there. Bracelet is separate, so make sure. Now, I think the bracelet has two options. If you guys are on Watch Crunch, you could see the color version of the band of the green. It's similar. He's somewhat in between manufacturing supply for that, but it is going to be very, very similar. And it comes with the strap. You could choose black or green, and the bracelet is separate. So it is an extra cost. I think that it's definitely worth it because obviously you get that bead blasted to match. And What size is the case? I believe this is a 41 or 42 mega. Let me pull it up. That's my fault. 41 or 42. I can't commit things to memory. Noctua Watch Corp. And that's why I have a separate phone for me to have assistance. Stay on Safari, Noctua. I'll get you the size right now. Hang on. I believe it's if I have to guess, I'd say it's a 41 or 42. 46 lug to lug, 13. So this is a 42. 42. So nice and wide, right? And especially if you have the wrist for it, 7¼ inch wrist on mine, and it's a Pilot, so you want to have that wide. Now, another thing that I like about the watch that I didn't mention before, and I got to wrap this up real soon, is on this particular model, I like that he left the dial alone, just the logo at the 12, no other text on this one in particular, and I love that. Let it do its thing, let it breathe, put all the text in the back if you want that kind of information. So that was another plus that I really liked about this watch personally. I think that the other models do have text on it, but this one in particular, personally, go for the all-lume dial. And especially if you don't have one, this is actually my first all-lume dial. Sheesh! And not just lume on the dial, all lume dial. We have lume on the bezel and lume on the Kenji chapter ring inside. So when this thing glows, it goes. You know what I mean? C3 Super Luminova, so you guys know that that shines super bright, and everything else. So I answered what size is the case. Skylar, much appreciated. I appreciate you. They are very lightweight. Is like nothing. Yeah, so not this one, Oscar. So the titanium, I think that's what you're saying it to. Titanium, so this is like, I hear a lot of people mentally have struggle with titanium. Although it be known that it's technically a higher quality of metal, the lightness just messes with your mind. We associate the heft with quality, and that makes sense, and I get that. So that's why I feel like this is the best of both worlds. It looks titanium, it has the heft to it. It definitely is heavier than a couple of watches, but not too heavy, not too big. I think it's just on the money. Now, if you have a wrist that's smaller, that's my alarm. If you have a wrist that's smaller than that, you may have, you have to know your wrist size on this. It is a little bit of a chunky monkey, but beautiful, beautiful watch, and definitely worth it if you can wrist it. Too many options nowadays. Yes, that's something that I actually wanted to address, and I'll do so real quick, but guys, I got to jump off. But I'm okay, my opinion, and it's not because my boy came out with a watch company. I'm okay with more the merrier, especially on independent brands, because here's the deal. Just because there's 100 brand new independent brands tomorrow doesn't mean that they're all gonna survive the test of time, right? So what that really is an opportunity for us to get more language design that separates itself from what's already out there. And it's really on them to make their watches successful or not. So, in 5 years' time, who's going to still be around despite how many are coming out, right? It just gives us more. It gives us more dynamic. Now, this is very homage inspired, if you will, from the two watches, the Sin and the SKX that I talked about. But, my man JP's already like thinking of other ways and other things and to separate himself and to grow from there. And I'm sure sky's the limit, and we're going to get a lot of things that we consider to be a hole in the market, consider to be not offered readily available, if you will. All right, so I'm going to catch up on chat, then I got to go. Well said, Skylar. Good point. Thank you, man. And listen, it's not like I don't understand. See, that's what I like to do. The feedback allows me to think further, and I first listen to your perspective, and then I really put some thought into it. I can say where I resonate with you saying there's a lot of brands and there's too many and it's overwhelming. The New York Wind-Up Fair was definitely felt that way going there. It was 130 brands. So for you to wrap your mind around that with all the crowd that was there. So I 100% understand where you're coming from, bro. But at the same time, I always try to take 2 steps back and say, okay, just because you come out, it doesn't mean you're going to survive. And especially a time where the watch market is taking a little bit of a slowdown, if you will, because just the way cost of living is and everything else. So we shall see who shall survive. I've got a focus of 2025. I'm now planning my videos for 2025, specifically on the reviews, I'm going to be laser focused on independent brands. I'm still going to have affordable watches as a category always, but independent brands are going to be something that I try to focus a little bit more on, because for me, I feel like independent brands give you the best of all worlds. I feel like there are a lot of them that can be considered luxury, to my opinion. There are independent brands that have a good amount of history already, and then there's new kids on the block, and then there's people doing things that have never been done before. So for me, that's all I really need. That's all that I really need to go for. It fills in all of the categories, I believe. And even if you're a new watch collector and you're looking for something affordable, you can get that. There's even micro brands that are within the sub $300 range. You're going to get a quartz movement, like the one that that has the smooth sweep, right? But at the end of the day, you could still get a category watch like an Islander or About Vintage and have a step-in model, and then go all the way up to like a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 watch. So I think it covers a lot of bases. I think a lot of brands already have a good amount of history for me, right? If you're 20 years in the game, we'll take Christopher Ward as an example. I think 2 decades is enough time for you to have skin in the game and for you to be able to have that history, right? And then also it's a current history, yeah? So you know what the market looks like now because you climbed through the ranks now. And you have enough weight to move around where you can go in-house movements and do complications as we're seeing. So I think that it's a long list of things that independent brands can cover. I am super enthusiastic about them, so that's what I'm gonna do. And I gotta go, guys. I'm so sorry. I'll read a little bit more of chat and then I has to go. Well, good point. Love Christopher Ward. Just cracked on one of their watches. Yeah, man, I can't wait to put my first CW. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. I just wanted to give you a little sneak preview. I'm going to do a deep dive in this watch real soon as a review. I hope you guys enjoyed the content, and I appreciate you guys spending your most valuable asset, which is time. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.